Tarini has finally docked back in Goa after their record-breaking journey. They have become the first all-women crew to circumnavigate the globe, covering 21,600 nautical miles, crossing the equator twice, and sailing the 3 Great Capes with 4 port stops. They steered through a monster storm at the South Atlantic Ocean. They sailed through calm seas with some friendly creatures. They smashed through gender stereotypes and created history. The 6 naval officers, Vartika Joshi, the skipper, Lieutenant Commander Pratibha Jamwal, Lieutenant Pratapali Swati, Lieutenant Aishwarya Bodapati, Lieutenant Vijaya Devi, and Lieutenant Payal Gupta are sitting down for a chat with me. Aishwarya, around the world in 254 days, breaking records and breaking stereotypes. What is it like being back on land? Too stable for your liking?
It's actually really hard to believe that we've already completed this voyage and now back on land. The feeling is very overwhelming, and I cannot really express in words what's going on inside right now.
Are you missing the sea and the ocean?
I still am not back on land. It's like even before realization hit me, we are here.
Did it take any one of you a little moment of readjustment when you sailed back into Goa and actually stepped onto land? Was it
Definitely. I was like, when I was stepping on land, I just fall off, because it's like when you're on stable land, you're still feeling the motion in your head, and for the first night, you get no sleep.
None of you got any sleep on the first night you were back on land?
Not for me.
Was it because of excitement? I would imagine it was because of excitement, because of, the record-breaking voyage that you guys had just finished.
Watch system. We have a particular watch system, so we have been doing it for quite a time, so we are used to it. So it gets a bit of time to get adjusted with the normal day of our life.
We feel the boat is steady, but we are missing the background noise. The water doing, the waves and the water.
It must have been awfully quiet, I would imagine, in the middle of an ocean.
This is quiet, yeah.
Is this quiet, or was the ocean quiet?
No, like we are sitting inside this is like something is missing, yeah. The background noise is missing. Because even when you sleep, your mind is actually continuously listening to the same noise of the waves and the wind. Like you have the typical noise of the wind, woo, so that's missing.
Vartika, sailors are a superstitious lot. They'll say never sail out on a Thursday. Dolphins bring good luck. And one thing they will say is never have a woman on board. That last stereotype you have conclusively tossed into the ocean. Tell me, what was the voyage like?
It was a mix of thrill, excitement, and satisfaction. Definitely the fear was there. If anybody says that you don't fear anything, that would be a wrong statement.
That's
so,
a lie.
So we were definitely apprehensive, but the way we came out of it is commendable. I mean, I would really appreciate the effort of the entire team, how we managed.
What was the toughest moment? What was the toughest part of your journey?
See, whatever is there, every situation has their ups and downs, and if I say that very heavy winds, they were toughest, then I would be wrong, because nil wind situations are equally difficult. Just before reaching India, we were encountering nil wind, and you are only making probably 10-20 nautical miles a day. In 24 hours, you are only moving for 40 kilometers. And that too in such a hot environment, and close to equator, the temperature was somewhere around 40-45 degrees, and you don't have any air conditioning or cooling mechanism inside the boat. So that was also tough. And when we were in southern oceans, so the temperature was sub-zero temperature, -5 degrees, -7 degrees we encountered. Definitely the sea was very rough, and the winds were blowing as fast as like 70 knots, which is 140 kilometers per hour. So every situation had their ups and downs. So I cannot really pick one situation which was the toughest.
The toughest moment is when your mind asks you why am I here? So I kept promising myself, wait for the day when you arrive at Goa, when you're flagging in, and then when you complete, you will have your answers.
Any life-defining moments? I saw some beautiful pictures that you have uploaded on your Facebook page of dolphins and sharks. Wow.
I think those were the best moments of life, which we can only see when we are out in ocean. So and making the videos out of those, like when we saw that dolphin and those sharks, whales coming near us, we were like, everyone is like running around to get the cameras to take just one picture of them, because that's the moment which we'll remember throughout our life.
The 6 of you were in a small little boat, and I've seen the boat, I know it's small. You were working together, living together, sailing together, fixing the boat together, everything together. It's a gender stereotype to say, 6 ladkiyan ek saath kaise rahenge. I would imagine, even 6 men can't stay. No one can, even if you're the closest family, you can't stay in such close confines together. What was that like?
We were not strangers to each other. Before we embarked on the voyage, we had known each other. It took us 3 years to understand each other's behavior. Definitely it was difficult, right, when we started training for it. It took us a while to come to terms with each other's behavior and how each one of us react to situations. But over a period of time, we came out of it.
We were all working towards one goal, for the attainment of this stage of completion of circumnavigation. We were not competing against one another. We were competing against something as a team.
A quick logistical question, which, since I've never been out, I get seasick even on harbor. Two things. How did you manage internet in the middle of the ocean? And how did you manage water in the middle of the ocean?
There is internet. There should be a special mention about the new OIC who came. He sailed along with us for the Cape to Rio race, and he said for the first time he sailed for that long, and then he said, "This is maddening. How can somebody live without internet for so long?" Right after the completion of the race, he went back. He even thinking about all the 6 of us. These girls will go crazy for those 250, 260, whatever days. The first thing which will actually save them is internet. If they continuously in touch with parents, the support actually, you need that support, and it is very, very important. So he did all, whatever he could, and then he made sure that we had internet facility on board. But we do have internet limitation, that's 100 MB per day. But when we went onto the boat, we have realized 100 MB is too much. You can talk on phone for almost 3 hours continuously on WhatsApp.
So that's the internet taken care of. What about water? I believe that you guys ran short of water at one point of time?
Yes. For the first leg, we were actually short of water because our RO plant packed up. But as a logistic officer, my work is that I calculate the amount of water that is required before starting the voyage, so that if there is any emergency, we will keep the emergency water aside, and that can be used during the voyage. And there was water rationing every day, like per person it will be like I'll mark the bottles 1.5 liter for a person for 24 hours, and the next day you'll get next bottle.
So this RO plant in the boat, you take sea water and then convert it into potable water?
Yes. It actually automatically
salt water basically.
And what do you do when you run out of, or say if the RO
if the RO goes, then the race.
We pray at one point of time during our first leg, it was a long leg. It took about 43 days from Goa to Fremantle, Australia. So and our RO plant was faulty. Luckily, there were days when there were rains and huge showers, and a lot of rainwater collected in our sails. So we harvested this rainwater and collected a large quantity, and the same water was used instead of RO water. So for cooking, cleaning, and daily use.
Who was cooking?
I think everyone is a cook, and by the end of this voyage, we have become better cooks.
You mean you have become chefs, professional chefs? I saw some. No, didn't I see some pictures of you girls baking cakes?
Yes.
Someone's birthday. Whose birthday was it?
Everybody got a cake.
We had 3 birthdays on board when we were sailing. First was Payal's, and then Vijay, and then mine. So 3 legs we had 3 different birthdays.
So all 3 managed cakes?
Pacific Ocean and in the
they get the fresh, freshly baked.
So 3 birthdays in 3 different oceans.
Yes.
Wow. I believe you all had fun with the time zone as well?
Yeah, we did.
a lot.
Fun and not so fun.
Exactly.
The variation is very slow, so you really don't realize the time changing, but still when you have to contact back home, so the time difference is phenomenal. Sometimes it's 8 hours, 9 hours and 12 hours sometimes.
So you were crossing a time zone every what?
Actually, we started with one day and we went back and then we repeated the same day again. That was 14th of December. 14th of December was like, we left 14th of December and then we had to again attempt 14th of December twice and then cross the international date line, that is 180 degrees. And then we came to the next day, that is 15th of December.
Which means you were getting older and younger every day.
Yeah. It was like that.
And
It
we
was
lived
like that.
24 hours twice.
Not many people know this, but you are the one who was instrumental in naming the boat. Are you happy with the name Tarini, given the amount of success and fame that it has got you girls?
I believe that Goddess Tarini has looked over us and has a special role in completion and successful completion of this voyage.
The meaning of the name itself is savior.
Savior.
And she has definitely proved herself as a savior.
I've seen some storms that you girls have crossed.
3 in total.
3 storms you have crossed. How did the boat hold on? Were there problems? Because if there were problems, you had to fix it, right?
We never ever had to ever worry about the strength that the boat holds. It was just that we had to sail it right, and she was as strong as anything we would have expected. And this is the boat to circumnavigate in.
She needed our support. We were very well, we were cautious and we got the sails well before the storm hit us. Otherwise, of course, she would have taken a lot of pressure and she would have broke something. But we were very cautious and we took actions well before the storm hit us.
Vardhika, you met the Prime Minister. What was that like? What did he tell you? He in fact met you before you set off to sail, and
He had met us before we left for the voyage, and that time also he was very motivating, and his personality as such is very, very charming. And today also he was he seemed very it was very satisfying to see him, and he was motivating now as well. And he in fact said that he was asking us, how did you cope together on one boat? And then he mentioned about Neil Armstrong, that what he had mentioned in his book, that when he left he was an astronaut, and the day he arrived he became a human being. So he was asking about what was it like for us in this voyage.
He was so much interested in asking us to spread the news that whatever you've learned so far, the fame, the achievement, it's all okay, it's all like superficial. But what changes have you got inside yourself? If you write something and if somebody reads it, it will be a good help for that particular person to understand how can you actually mold yourself inside you.
So let me ask you the question that the Prime Minister asked you. Do you think the voyage has changed you?
Definitely. We have the same feeling what he mentioned about the astronaut. So we are more humble, maybe because of this ocean.
I think this voyage has changed a lot of qualities in us, and in a very positive way. So it's like we've become more accepting, more patient, and more forgiving. And I feel we are a little bit more fearless also. And and we owe all this to this voyage that we have taken.
But the ocean wasn't forgiving just because you're women, was it?
Never.
That's a gender stereotype you've managed to break. Would you say that has been the greatest achievement of your 254-day journey?
Not just 254, for the last 3 years we've been doing the things like that way only. Because it's not this journey started on 10th of September. Our journey started way back in 2015 when we first stepped onto the boat.
So we sailed actually for the circumnavigation is one part, and we've sailed more than the distance of the circumnavigation before we even started for this voyage. So the training was more than 22,000 nautical miles for all the 6 of us.
Personally, I'm sure each of you had your own moments out there. For you, what was the life-defining moment or something that you'll never be able to sort of forget?
There is this one moment, it was after the storm that we faced in South Pacific Ocean. It was the morning, we were outside on the wheel, and you could see the storm moving past you, and the weather became so beautiful. It's like the clouds started disappearing, and there were dolphins that came jumping, rainbows were out in the sky, and it was like as if God had come in front of us saying, now just relax.
It was like the first sunshine which I've seen after the storm. That was like, it came after 2 days, but it was best because I loved that sunshine for that day because it was so cold out there. I was
That
actually
day we
praying for
realized
that.
actually why the foreigners, they really miss sun. We keep hating sun.
And why
oh my
they
God,
love the
this sun.
sunshine
But
when they come to India.
in southern oceans, in those temperatures, if there is sun, it's a bliss.
Okay, you said when you saw the sun, you thought God had come to see you. Did you remember God often in your voyage?
Yes.
Not really.
We had a voyage that we could do successfully. I think that was more of a prayer that we had.
Now, after this absolutely successful voyage, any hope that women will now get a chance to be on a warship in the Navy? It's a little unfortunate that in this day and age, women aren't allowed on warships.
No, even before we went for the circumnavigation, when we were sitting just above this roof, we were talking to one of the admirals, and then he just mentioned the warships when they say you have to set out sailing, and they say, sir, this is peak monsoon, and the crew is, not in a condition to sail. Then he said, look out the Tarini girls, they really want to go in only monsoons because they want to face the roughest of the seas. So that's a kind of a satisfaction that you get, that when you're proving yourself, and then it gives an example to somebody else. When we were at sea, there was a ship escorting us, taking our photographs and all. The commanding officer of the ship was so happy. He says, you are an example for my men, and they've seen you right in front, and then that's a kind of motivation that you have when you're out at sea. So that is one of the satisfactions that...
It would not be very right of us to compare our sailing with the sailing that
Correct.
is done by the warship, because the work that they do is beyond comparison, and it's commendable job. And what we have done is definitely a commendable thing, but comparing, they don't stand equal.
I get it, yeah.
Yes.
But I'm saying, but it's your, if you can do this, you can do that as well.
Yeah, that's
So,
what.
now that we have completed this voyage, so I would like to say it will be difficult for us to lose the sight of sea after being at sea for so long. Definitely. So given an opportunity, we would like to go, but we will not be the right person to say whether women should be...
You should have put in an arzi with the Prime Minister. Vartika, my last question to you. The one advice that stood you in good stead through your voyage?
Never let your guard down. Even, the last stretch, I would say, is always the most challenging part of any voyage. We finished the entire voyage successfully. We went around the globe. Everything was okay. Even though we saw the roughest of the seas, we went around the world. We came out of it all together. So you have to hold yourself till that point, and you must never let your guard down, because it's only in the final stretch, and it's only when you lose sight of your goal that something wrong happens. And we have seen it a couple of times at sea. Whenever we have to expect the unexpected. Every time we felt that, okay, everything's going fine. So
We had situations when both of us are sitting on the watch, being bit casual, thinking, oh, sea is calm and there's no clouds and nothing, and something will happen, and she will remind, oh, girls, you're still at sea, you're not reached home. So she'll give you that kick. The boat will give you that kick, and then you'll come back, and then you'll be okay, cautious for the next 1 to 2 days, and then next day again you'll make a mistake, and she'll remind you. So that's what used to happen with us.
So all of our senior officers have told us that it's not over till the last rope is passed. So that's what we kept in mind.
It's not over till it's over, but it's finally over.
It is finally over.
Ladies, thank you very much for speaking to me, and many, many congratulations, and welcome back home. Thank you so much.
Thank you.